G'day and welcome everybody to tonight's Masterclass. It is about growing your business and making more money without having to work any harder. And that's exactly what we love to do, isn't it, David? David, you're muted. We can't hear
I
you.
know. Absolutely. That's what we do.
Now, we're just going to, before we do kick off, what I want to do is, my name is Ben, by the way. If you haven't met me before, David is my business partner and good friend. We are the founders of Maximum Profit and the authors of the Business Acceleration Blueprint. We're going to be running your masterclass tonight. Before we do jump into the content, if you can jump into the chat box, let us know where you are and where you're watching this from, so where in the world you are. For the first time, we're actually also broadcasting this live out to our Facebook and YouTube channel. So if you are there and you want to get your hands on the freebies, we've got $870 worth of bonuses for every single attendee tonight. You will need to jump onto our website and let us know by registering with the Start for Free page. You'll see the button there, maximumprofit.com.au, and we'll be able to get you the bonuses. If not, just shoot us a message. We'll get you the bonuses. If you're here and you've just heard me say that, shoot me a message or shoot us a message in the Messenger, wherever you like, and we'll get you the bonuses. All right, so where in the world is everybody? Let's have a look at these comments. Great. I can see Tim from Orange. How are you going, Tim? Tim's actually already enrolled in one of our courses. I hope you're enjoying that, Tim, and getting some traction. Good to see you here, buddy. Mary from Adelaide. How are you going, Mary? Nice to have you here. Matthew from the Blue Mountains. G'day, mate. Nice to see you here. DJ, nice to meet you too. From Brisbane, good to see. Anybody else want to chime in? I know there's a lot more of you here viewing this than have commented, but that's okay. There's no pressure on you to participate if you don't want to, but obviously you'll get more out of tonight if you are participating and asking questions. All righty, so I am going to get things underway. Here we go. So I've already sort of introduced us, but for those of you that are arriving late, my name is Ben Futrell, and this is my good friend and business partner, David Carlin. We are the founders of Maximum Profit. In fact, we both started our own businesses back a long time ago, many years ago.
Forever ago now.
Yeah. But we started together. We actually merged our businesses together 20 years ago. In fact, next year is the 20th anniversary of working together. And in that time, we've coached, I don't know how many businesses and worked with thousands of businesses, but we've worked with many. And we developed a thing back in 2014. We developed this thing called the Business Acceleration Blueprint, which is the 5 colorful things you see below our podcast artwork there. And that is what we're going to share with you tonight. And we're going to go deep into the first 2 parts of that with you tonight, because that's really what the masterclass is about, is helping you understand how to structure your business for growth so it doesn't rely on you having to be there. And these are just some of the things we've been featured in books and Virgin In-Flight Entertainment, etc. But yeah, I guess it just gives you a bit of our background. David's going to come back at the end there. I'm going to host it. So anything you want to add, David, before we get stuck into tonight's masterclass?
I'm looking forward to hearing what you're going to say tonight.
Me too. Can't wait. All right, we'll talk to David later. See you, David. He's out of here. All righty. So thanks for those of you that have commented so far. If you have just turned up, I can see more people coming into the live session. Jump into the chat box. Let us know where in the world you are watching this from. Always interesting to see where you are. Of course, most of our audience is typically in Australia, but we do get people from other parts of the world, so it's always quite interesting. All right, so my goal today is pretty simple. My goal is not to sell you anything, so I want to make sure that you feel confident with that, knowing that this is not one of those webinars where at the end of the webinar there's going to be some exploding offer that lasts for 10 minutes or, everything bad is going to happen to you. So you can just relax knowing that my goal today is not to sell you anything, but instead is to give you a bit of a taste for what it is that we do. And why I want to do that is I want to help you get some content and some ideas and some inspiration to go away and make some changes, because if nothing changes, nothing changes. So my goal is to fulfill that. Now, that is part of a bigger vision that I have, and that is to help as many people as possible to be released from the daily shackles of their business. And I really do love it. I've got a client who I'm working with at the moment. I was just talking to his business manager because the owner of the business is actually away. It's his 4th week and he's not back for a couple more weeks. It's the longest he's been able to take off in 20 years. And that is just, it is exactly what it is the reason why we do what we do. So my goal today is just to share some of those insights with you and help you understand how you can release yourself from the day-to-day operation of your business. And I know there's a little voice in your head going, but Ben, that's not possible. My business relies too much on me. My customers just want to talk to me. But I'm here to tell you that there is a way, but you have to be open to it, right? So I'm going to do my best to give you the best possible content and training tonight that'll help you to really get your head around some of the things that you need to do. You're going to get some actionable strategies, plus stick around to the end and you are going to get over $870 worth of bonuses. These are workbooks and tools that we usually only give to our one-on-one members and our clients, but we're going to give you access to these just for showing up today and allow you to sort of test drive a bit more of our business. You're going to get access, like online access to our Business Acceleration Hub, which is our client-only membership portal, and you're going to be able to access some tools and resources. So pretty exciting. So make sure you stick around and we'll share with you how to do that as well. Like I said, breathe easy, grab a pen, paper. I'm not going to sell you anything. I will give you the opportunity to chat with me further after tonight, but there's no exploding offers, so you can just relax. All right, I can see Mark has jumped in there and said, G'day, Mark. How you going? Nice to have you here Mark's from Melbourne. There we go. And I've also got Wendy from Melbourne as well, a couple from Melbourne. So I heard the weather in Melbourne's actually been okay lately. I was down there a couple of weeks ago, and typical Melbourne, it was sunny, then it was rainy, then it was windy, then it was cold, then it was hot. Love Melbourne. All right. So let's get stuck into it. So first of all, I want to talk about it. I mentioned before that both myself and David have had our own businesses in the past. And there is a hard way and an easy way. And I was definitely doing it the hard way. And you might relate to this, right? Because as a business owner, we sort of learn from others. And, you know, when I sort of started in business, I sort of got told, or I'd taken on this belief that you had to work hard to make a living. And that's sort of a saying that has been around for a long time. And it's sort of ingrained in many people's brains, and including my own, it was. And so the hard way is trying to do everything yourself, right? And if you've ever caught yourself saying that it's hard to find good people, or no one could do it as good as me, then you've probably got what I call superhero syndrome. And, you know, that's a really challenging thing to be faced with, because if you've got to do everything yourself, how are you ever going to grow your business? How is your business ever going to be able to run without you there? And you know, touch wood, this doesn't happen to you. But what if you ever got sick or you couldn't work and it all relied on you, right? So that really is the hard way to build a business. And you're really making a rod for your own back. We've got a client that just recently started with us. I won't say his name because of privacy, but he had a heart attack. And we'd been talking to him for maybe 3 or 4 years. And it wasn't until he had a heart attack that he survived, that he realized that it was important that he build his business, so it didn't rely on him. So he reached out and contacted me, and he started on a program straight away. And even after that, he's since had another medical issue. He had a stroke, you know. And so you are not Superman, right? You're not Superwoman. You are not a superhero. You're a human being, and things can happen to you. So trying to do everything yourself is definitely the hard way to go about it. And what that leads to is you're too busy working in the business instead of on the business. And if no one's working on the business, then how's it ever going to improve, right? So as a business owner, if we want to do it the easy way, we've got to get ourselves from working in. But the hard way is definitely working in the business. And if you're too busy working in the business to working on it, then that is something that you're never going to get out of that cycle. You'd be like this bloke with how many arms has he got? 6 arms, or maybe more actually, like 8 arms. Like, that is just crazy, trying to do everything, too busy working in. Then what this leads to is wasting money and time, because you'll end up having to redo things or work on things when you're tired. You won't get them done well. You'll waste money because you won't be paying attention to everything that's going on in your business. You won't have proper reporting or, you know, forecasts or budgeting happening because you're just too busy working in. And so you will end up wasting a lot of money, but more importantly, you'll waste time. And time is something that you never get back. If you spend your time doing the wrong thing, you're never going to get that time back. Okay. So really important that you don't do it the hard way, because you're going to spend time doing the wrong things. The other thing that I found when I was in my first business was I had some of the wrong team members, and I put up with that because I didn't know how to build a great team. I didn't understand how to recruit the right people. Definitely the hard way, having the wrong people. And if you think about your business like a boat, right, where you're all rowing, if you've got half your team rowing in the right direction, out of the other half, a few of them just sitting there, but you've got one with the anchor at the back, no one's going anywhere, right? So you really need to have the right team members on. The other thing that I was doing that a lot of people do, which is definitely the hard way, is because I didn't understand my numbers, I just took on whatever work I could because I felt like being busy was being successful. Yet I can tell you right now, that is not the right way to build a business. How do I know that? I've got the t-shirt. Being busy and not profitable is a mug's game. You want to have the right customers that you enjoy working with, that your team enjoy working with, that are profitable, that essentially, self-propel your business because they love giving you referrals. They're great to work with, etc. Right? So the hard way is definitely taking on whatever work you can. Now, a wise man once said to me, Ben, you can spend all your money, you can always make some more. But if you spend your time, it is gone forever. So if you just keep doing the same thing day in, day out, like maybe you feel like you're on a treadmill or the hamster wheel of business, and you just get up in the morning and just do whatever's got to be done, that day, you're never going to get that day back, right? So we have to think about new ways of doing things, right? If you keep doing it the old way, you're going to get the same results. And I think there's a very overused saying, but I'm going to use it, and that is, doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome is the definition of insanity, right? We have to look at new ways of doing things, and that means that you have to change. Now, I'm probably preaching to the converted because you're here, right? You're here watching this, this masterclass tonight because you're ready to change. And if you're watching the replay, you're the same, right? You've invested some time, and you're going to invest the next 50 minutes or so with me to make some changes. And if we just change one thing, just one thing, that's all we have. We're not going to change the world in 1 hour, but what we are going to do is maybe just shift your mindset slightly so you do think a bit differently. And if you think about somebody like this guy here, Richard Branson, you've got the same amount of hours in the week that he does. 100%. It's how you invest that time that matters the most. And so that's really what we're going to work on today, is make sure that you've got some sort of model or idea of how to be successful. Now, what happened when I started coaching, coming out of the business that I had a transport business with 60 odd trucks on the road. It was a multi-million-dollar company, sold that off and thought, what am I going to do? And I thought, I'm going to get into the space of business coaching. It was pretty new 20 odd years ago. And I thought, if I get into this, what I need to do is understand what is it that some of the world's leading entrepreneurs do that make them successful. Well, first of all, they all have clarity and direction. They have a vision, and their vision is so clear that even their customers can quite often tell you what that vision is. Like if you thought about Virgin, you could probably tell me a few things about Virgin's vision that would be pretty much on the money. Like you wouldn't know it in depth like Richard Branson would, but I bet you have some sort of idea of what his vision is. And, that's amazing when you think about it, that somebody who has a business that's not your business, that you don't work in, that's just has good marketing, you understand a bit about it. So we know that somebody who's, uber successful, has a good business, has clarity and direction. And there's a lot of good things that come out of that. One of the things that allows you to do is to build a great team, because if you have a vision that inspires people, then you'll enroll people into that vision, not into your business. And what happens is when you enroll a team that is inspired and motivated by your vision, they end up helping you. In fact, they pretty much get you where you're trying to get to because they love what it is you're trying to do. So, people that do it the easy way, they're great team builders. They understand how to build an amazing team. They also know their numbers. There would be nobody that has built an amazing business that doesn't know their numbers, that doesn't know how many sales they need, or how many leads they need to generate, or how many days it is that between paying something and getting the money in the bank from their customer, or whatever the numbers might be, right? These are called KPIs in business. We're going to talk about them shortly, but they know their numbers. They know exactly what they need to do to succeed. The other thing they do is they structure their business for growth, because if you're going to grow your business, the last thing you want it to do is to make you busier, right? And if your business relies on you, that means that as you bring on more customers, it's going to rely more on you. And so what we've got to do is we've got to structure the business so it can grow without it having to rely on you. And that means, building systems, recruiting team members, and being able to hold them accountable to doing the work they need to do. So we're going to talk a bit about that as well. But what this leads to, which is, I guess, why you're all here, is that you will end up working less hours and earning more. And if you think about someone like Richard Branson, he would work less hours than pretty much most people that run their own business, because he has a great team and he's a great vision. He has great systems and his business works. So you've got to decide, do you want to do it the hard way, or do you want to do it the easy way? And you can pop that in the comments if you want. What do you want to do, the easy way or the hard way? I'm asking you right now to make that decision, because it's up to you. It's not up to me. You've got to make that decision. Pop it in the comments and let me know. Now, whilst you're doing that, I also want you to tell me why you started your business in the first place. I want to know, why did you start your business in the first place? Jump into that comments box for me. And those that are new here, g'day, welcome. I can see lots more people now in the session. Why did you start your business in the first place? I'll pop those up on the screen as they come in. All right. And I can see some answers coming to my first question. So here, you want the easy way and the fun way. Absolutely. But easy is fun, isn't it? That's the thing. I've got a saying, if it's fun, it gets done. Yeah. If it's fun, it gets done. The easy way, but willing to choose my own hard. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, Wendy. Thank you. Larry says, easy, be better. Yep. Less hard, more smart. Like it, Maria. Thank you. Yes. Fun, lots of doing. Okay, why did we start our business in the first place? Let's see who's got those answers. So Wendy, started because I did not want to work in corporate again. Sounds like you've had a bit of a stint in the old corporate field. So you didn't want to work in corporate, so you started your own business. Great stuff. There's Amos saying he wants to do it the easy way. I hear you. Why did you start your own business in the first place? Let's jump into that chat box. The more you participate, I want you to shut all the other apps down. Let's just get focused on you and your business tonight. All right, Tim, we're sick of babysitting contractors. Sounds like there's a bit of a story behind that, Tim. Excellent. Why did you start your business in the first place? Jump in that chat box. Let me know. I know there's a lot more of you there. Feel free, feel confident, get in there. Mark, no boss. Yeah, having no boss. Well, you do, you're it. Be your own boss. So typically, here's the answers that I get. I'll pop these up on screen whilst you keep answering those. Oh, more time, more freedom, more money, and be my own boss. And typically, when we talk to anybody about why they started their own business, everything that they say will lead back to one of these four things. I want more time because of my lifestyle. I want more freedom. I want to be able to, spend more time with my family. I want more money to do the things that I want. And I want to be able to make my own decisions. I want to be my own boss, right? So these are the reasons most people start their business. But did you know that 8 out of 10 fail? Now, you've probably seen this statistic before, that 5 out of 10 small businesses fail in the first 5 years. Now, I'm not talking about that failure rate. I'm talking about the failure rate of achieving the things that you set out in the beginning. Because I've never met someone that says, Ben, I started my business so I could fail. Ben, I started my business so I can work harder than I did when I worked for somebody else. I started my business so I could stay up at night worrying how I'm going to pay my bills. Ben, I started my business so I couldn't take any holidays, and so my business would just rely on me. I've never heard anyone say that. 8 out of 10 fail to achieve their goals. More time, more money, freedom, and be my own boss. And that's why our tagline for our business is helping you build the business you imagined. And it's funny, I was thinking about, how do I put that into a campaign so I can get the message across to people. And I thought, you know what? If I had an ad campaign, imagine this ad campaign where I was doing my own root canal, I was doing my own brain surgery, I was doing my own whatever, right? Just doing all these things myself instead of getting professionals to help me. You would think that's crazy, right? But so many people try and build their business on their own. They set these goals. These are the outcomes I want. And without any business training whatsoever, they try and go and get there, try and do this on their own. And that's why I'm so passionate about what we do, because for 20 years, guess what we've been doing? We've been helping you build the business that you imagine, become one of the ones that do not fail, that succeed. But let's talk about why so many fail. Why do you think so many fail? Well, here's what I think. Because being good at what you do, being the best, and being passionate is not enough to succeed. And I see so many people that they are really good at what they do, right? So that's why they start the business in the field they're in. So an electrician will start an electrical business, hairdresser will start a hairdressing salon, an accountant will start an accounting firm. And what that means is it means that they end up doing all the work in the business. Okay, so that's not ideal, is it? Right, we've just said that that's the hard way, is you to be the superhero. So you're almost better off starting a business that you are not good at, the skill itself to do the job. because that's not what business is about. Business is about serving people, solving a problem, and doing it in the best possible way, giving people the best possible experience and solution that they're willing to pay for, right? And you don't need to be the cheapest. You just need to be able to provide a really good service that will give you the result that you need. So being good at what you do is not going to help you, right? Now, I've just said being the best, but you don't even need to be the best, right? I know plenty of businesses that aren't the best, and they still are very, very successful. Can you name a hamburger shop that doesn't make the best hamburger, that might be in 100 and something countries with over 30,000 stores worldwide? I bet you can. So being the best is actually not the best way to succeed either. The other thing is being passionate, right? I'm super passionate about what we do, but it doesn't mean I'm going to be successful. We still have to have goals and budgets, etc. Myself and David in our coaching business have done well over $100 million in revenue, well over. And I don't say that to impress you, but to impress upon you that that would not have happened if it was just me standing on the top of a mountain screaming out how passionate I was about helping business owners succeed. Instead, that's happened because we put plans together, we drive the business. And really, this is the formula that I think most business owners really need to understand. It's very simplistic, but cash flow times profits equals business. Now, you can use this in a couple of different ways. You can use a word to describe your cash flow and profits, or you can use a number. So, for example, good cash flows times good profits equals a good business. Like amazing cash flow and amazing profits equals amazing business. Or you could score yourself out of 10, let's say, 1 being terrible, 10 being amazing. So, if you had a cash flow that's 2 out of 10 and a profits that's 2 out of 10, well, that's only 4 out of 100, right? So you can use that as a bit of a guide for how you're traveling in your business, because this is the key to growing a business. It's not about being great at what you do. It's not about being the best. It's not about being passionate. It's about understanding that your business needs cash to survive. It's a bit like the fuel in your car, and profits. It needs to make money. And a lot of people are challenged by making money. But if you don't make money, you can't serve your customers. You can't serve your team. You can't pay your suppliers, and you can't look after yourself and your family. So you have to make money out of your business. It's like a non-negotiable. And I've even had people go, oh, but Ben, we're not for profit. Well, you still need to make profit to buy stuff to serve whatever purpose you serve, right? You just spend it on stuff that it goes through your books as a business that's like a private business. We just spend it on stuff for ourselves, right? So we are the charity. It's no different. You still need to make profit. Everybody needs to make a profit out of what they do. And if you don't understand how to do that, then you need to learn how to. And this is a great saying I love by a fellow called Ray Kroc. Now, if you're not familiar with Ray Kroc was the founder of the McDonald's franchise. Now, the McDonald's brothers started the original store. So, if you've watched the Founder movie or read the book, the McDonald's brothers started the original store. Ray Kroc was selling soft serve ice cream machines or sundae machines, whatever it was. I can't remember exactly the machine he was selling, but he was selling dessert machines, ice cream machines. And he met these brothers, loved what they were doing. And he went, you know what, we could take this to be a much bigger thing. And that's sort of how it started. And he's got this saying that says, you're either green and growing or you're ripe and rotting. Which one are you? Are you learning? Or are you just stagnant, right? Because you've got to be learning new skills, right? If you want to get better, if you want to have a better business, it is a direct reflection of your knowledge. That's it. And the reason why Richard Branson has what he has is because he knows how to have it. He knows how to create wealth out of whatever it is that he does. So he has that knowledge. He's learned it. He's taken the time to learn it. Can you learn new skills? Absolutely you can. Anybody can. So tonight, I'm going to teach you a few things that we've learned after coaching thousands of businesses over the last 20 years. Like I said, in 2014, we developed this thing called the Business Acceleration Blueprint. This is a 5-stage process of building a business. And a lot of people go, but Ben, it's a cookie cutter approach. It's not. 80% of what happens in your business, every business has to do. That's what's in here. There's 20% that will be different. No doubt about it. But the 80% is the backbone to a successful business. And so we're going to go through some of that right now. Now, there's 5 stages. You'll see the first is foundation, second is growth, third is optimize, the fourth is transition, and the fifth is diversify. I'm going to go through each of the 5 stages, but I'm going to really focus on the 2 first stages because we don't have a lot of time together tonight. But it'll give you I reckon it'll give you enough if you haven't already got some motivation or inspiration to make a change. This will give you some real nuts and bolts, tangible things to go away and do. Okay, so pen and paper ready, get really focused, shut down your social media apps, shut down your email if you're looking at them, and just get really focused for the next, how long have we got left? 35 minutes to really focus on building your business. Foundation, first of all, structured for growth. What does that mean? Well, that means that you take the time to clearly define all the roles and responsibilities within your business, and you work out how to go about making sure that as you recruit new people, it's clear what they've got to do. They've got a job description, they've got a role, they've got KPIs so they can be held accountable, and they've got the tools and resources to do what they need to do. We use a very simplistic four machines, we call them: lead generation, conversion, client fulfillment, and business. They're the four machines: so marketing, sales, operations, and business. Different words if we want to use them, but each of those areas of the business needs to have systems and KPIs and have roles and responsibilities allocated to them. So as you grow, it's really clear who you need to hire next. The good thing about today's age is when it comes to recruiting, you don't have to employ full-time people anymore. It's so easy to hire people. You can outsource, you can do part-time. There's people working from home now. People love working from home. Since that pandemic, I think people want to work from home. There's been like a flurry of people in the last 3 months because a lot of the government organizations are forcing people back into the office, and people don't like that type. Once something's given to someone, it's hard to take it away, right? Good news for you is there's all these people that are happy to work from home. We've got really good internet. It's easy to work from home. All our team work from home now. Since the pandemic, we got rid of our offices, and I tell you what, it's just amazing because people have a better lifestyle. They work better. The second thing in foundations is you have to understand your financials. So understanding your financials means having a cash flow forecast for the next 90 days. It means having a budget and understanding what that budget means. And I'm talking about budgeting for profit, not budgeting for expenses, budgeting for how much money you're going to make out of your business in the next 12 months, 5 years, 10 years, right? Having a good understanding of how that works. Understanding what we call your cash gap. So, when you are paying bills, paying team, buying stock, and then you've got to wait to be paid for it. That's called a cash gap. And, we work with, I've got one client that I've been working with. They have been spending about, I want to say, a good 6 figures a year on financing their cash gap and not focusing on collecting their money quicker. Isn't that crazy, right? But they didn't understand the impact that was having on their business and on their bottom line, right? So all they're doing basically is giving away good 6-figure numbers, well over $100,000 to a finance company every year because they don't have the systems to collect their money properly or to invoice their customers quick enough. So they don't understand their numbers. It's costing them, right? So you've got to know that. You've got to know your numbers. Things like, break-even point. At what point do you start making a profit? Understanding these financials is really important because then you can make better business decisions. The next area of foundation is having a plan. Now, this is, I think, not Mount Everest. It's not tall enough, but let's imagine it was Mount Everest. If you were going to climb Mount Everest, would you just have a crack at it? Or would you spend a bit of time preparing and planning and training? Now, I've been fortunate enough, I've been doing this for a long time, and I've asked people in my sessions, has anyone ever climbed Mount Everest? And I've actually had a couple of people in my workshops before that have. And every single time I've had somebody, they have told me how many years, not months, not weeks, not hours, how many years they spent training before they actually set off. And that even if you train like that, you can still perish up there. It's a very dangerous place. And I think business can be the same, is if you don't spend time training and learning how to build a business and putting a plan together to make it successful, then there's a chance you won't, right? And plans, nothing ever goes fully to plan, let's face it. But if you have a plan, it's a lot better to know that you're not on track than not to know that you're not on track, right? And that's what happens to so many businesses, is they don't have a plan, so they don't know where they're heading. In fact, they're not going up the mountain at all. They're running around the mountain in circles, wondering how they start the journey up the mountain. And that's not a good place to be. So you have to have good plans. So in the foundation, what we do is we teach our members how to go about building really good long-term plans, so 5 and 10 years, but then breaking it down into like 12-month plans and then into 90-day plans. So every quarter is 90 days of a year. That gives you the ability to be able to have an action plan that you can look at every week and just know what's got to be done this week to achieve our long-term goals. So planning is a really important part of foundation. So if you don't have a plan, it's a good idea to put some time aside to make that happen. The next area is managing your time. I've already said that, you can lose all your time. It's gone forever. And I really feel like a lot of people value their money more than their time. And I know this because people will do something themselves to save money, when realistically, you've got to look at the opportunity cost. And one of the brilliant things that we've got, that we give our clients, is we've got this tool that we use really to demonstrate what the opportunity cost is, because until you know what it is, sometimes it's hard to comprehend. But you think about some of the things that you do now. Could you delegate those things? And if you freed up your time, what could you do with that time? Could you do things that made you more money? Could you do, check-ins on your existing clients and get them to buy more from you? Could you do more training with your team to make them more efficient? Could you do more sales appointments? Could you develop some systems in your business that relies less on you in the future? If you had the time available, what could you do that would be much more valuable to you down the track? So I see so many people that will pay for bookkeepers when they're not a bookkeeper. Sorry, won't pay for bookkeepers, rather. They'll do the bookkeeping themselves when you should be paying for bookkeepers. If you're not a bookkeeper and you don't like bookkeeping, it's going to take you 3 times longer anyway, and you're not going to do it anywhere near as well. So just pay the money, get a good bookkeeper. The time you free up, go and do something else amazing that's going to make you more money. And I know that sounds, I guess, scary, but if it doesn't scare you, then it's probably not an important decision. It should scare you. It should excite you. It should really give you the motivation to do that. Now, I can see that Larry has just come and said, lack of staff can often cause these issues. It's not lack of staff, okay? And I don't want to disagree with you, because it's not about making you right or wrong. But imagine you knew how to hire amazing people nonstop into your business. Would you have a lack of staff issue? Okay, even I work with some industries that the whole industry has a skills shortage, but there's still thousands and thousands of workers in that industry. They're just not choosing to work with you, right? So there's plenty of people out there. There's plenty of amazing people out there. But if you don't understand how to recruit amazing people, and then, or if you don't put your time into learning how to do that, then you won't find them. You won't attract them, right? There's plenty of amazing people out there. But if you don't have the time to work on working out how to market for these people, because it is marketing, you won't attract that talent. Okay. And you got to ask yourself and be honest, be really honest. Is your business attractive? Right? Because there's a lot of businesses that I go and look at, that I start off with when we start the coaching journey. I wouldn't want to work there, because it's not well systemized. It's not a good environment. It's not a good culture. It's not that's not exciting. There's no vision. There's no motivation. So, I feel like it's easy to make excuses as business owners. Like, we hear things like, I don't have enough time. That's just an excuse. You just haven't learned how to manage your time, right? Or I don't have enough money. No, you just haven't worked out how to have enough money. Really important. The next thing I want to touch on is that, in foundations, how do we know how things are going? I talked about that mountain. You've got to have KPIs, or what's called key performance indicators. And all these things are, by the way, is numbers, right? They're just tracking numbers. So, we hear people use these to describe things, and it can be a bit overwhelming when we hear these terms. But all it is having a dashboard set up for your business, right? So something you can look at really quickly, like glancing at the dashboard in your car, and just make sure you're on track. Have I got enough fuel? Are we going fast enough? Are there any warning lights on? And if the answer is no, great, we're on track. We're heading where we're going to go, and we're going to get there on time. But these KPIs can tell you if something's going wrong. And they also are a great way for you to hold your team accountable. So if you do hire people and you want confidence in delegating stuff to them, KPIs is the only way for you to confidently know if somebody is or is not performing. Because it's not about how hard someone works. It's not about how many hours somebody works, right? Who cares if they're on their phone? I don't care. If they're getting their job done and they've got outcomes that are in their role that they've got to achieve, if they're achieving those outcomes, that's all I need. And I would have budgeted for that, right? I would have budgeted for, this is what I need this role to do. You got to sort of look like, even though people aren't machines, of course, people are, much different to machines. But imagine you had a factory where you bought a machine. All you'd want it to do is pump out a certain number of units per hour, right? That's a KPI. And if it didn't produce, then you'd be complaining. You'd go back to the manufacturer or the salesperson that sold you that machine. And this is what KPIs allow you to do, right? So KPIs allow you to manage individuals. Of course, you got to have empathy and understand that people go through things that machines don't, because we've all got lives and families. But yeah, it's very important to make sure to be successful, you have to have this set up in your business. And so that's part of foundation. So if you don't have a way of tracking what's going on in your business, like how many leads you're generating, or, I don't know if you can hear that noise. We've got a storm overhead. The dogs are barking. The magpies are at the front lawn making heaps of noise. But I live in a regional area. I live in Port Stephens, so we just got to put up with nature. If you don't have KPIs, you need to know how many leads you need to generate, what my conversion rate is, what my average dollar sale is. All of these things are going to help you become much more successful in your business. Okay, so it's really important that you have KPIs to track and monitor things. So that's sort of the foundation. So the foundations, I'll give you another quick summary. Get control of your time. So make sure you are working on the right things at the right time, that you're not doing things that are costing you the opportunity of growth, because that's probably the biggest thing we see, especially when we start working with you. Now, by the way, part of the bonus pack that you're going to get for attending tonight is going to be a little worksheet and workbook on helping you understand how to find more time in your day. It's one of the things that it's probably one of the biggest excuses, I'm going to say, we get from people that start coaching or want to start coaching, is they say, I don't have time. Well, you've got to make time. It's like anything. If you want to get fit and healthy, you've got to make time to go and do exercise. If you want to spend more time with the family, you've got to make time. I bet you make time for the hobbies that you love. Now, you might not be, because the business is demanding you're there all the time if you're the superhero. So, yeah, but you've got to make time. The other thing is, second is finances. So foundation is control your time, get control of your finances, know your numbers, have a cash flow forecast, have a budget, work out how much profit you want to make this year, and then work out how to do it. What sales do I need? What are my costs going to be? What people do I need to hire? What am I going to need to outsource? Get a plan together, which is the third thing in foundation. Learn how to do planning. You already know how to do planning, by the way, because you made it to this event. You would have planned it. You would have put it in your diary. Now, if you go on holidays, I bet you know how to plan that, right? And it's the same with your business. You just got to know where you're heading, what your destination is, and then you can put your plan together. But you've got to be disciplined about it. It has to happen. You have to look at your plan on a regular basis, and you have to have measurements that help you understand if you are or aren't on track. And then the fifth one there was making sure that your business is structured for growth. So all the KPIs and reporting, roles and responsibilities, understand what all the different areas of your business are and what they are responsible for towards the bigger plan, okay, or the bigger goal. And that's really the foundation. So you probably agree already. Let me know in the comments if you already feel like you've got a stack of things written down that you know you need to do, you need to change, because none of this is rocket science, by the way. I never said I was going to teach you some secrets like some coaches will do. There is no secrets. Maybe there's things you don't know, but there's no secrets, right? These are all things that are just basic fundamentals of building an amazing business. It's about understanding what to work on and when to work on it, right? Prioritizing things. And that's what this blueprint helps you do. So really important to do. So the second step then is growth. Now, growth is all about generating qualified leads. Now, notice the word qualified there. You don't want to be dealing with people and wasting your time with people that aren't qualified. So you need a process of generating qualified leads. It's like a tap. And when you need more leads, you can turn it up. When you need less, you can turn it down. We also, I didn't mention at the beginning, we also run a digital marketing company that we own. And, we're just some amazing technology right now. We've been booking appointments, sales appointments using AI chatbots, AI. So, generating qualified leads. The AI bot asks people qualifying questions before it books them in, or doesn't book them in because they don't answer the right way. There's so many tools we can use now to make sure that we're just spending our time with the right people, because good qualified leads mean we're going to be able to consistently convert those people into customers to be able to grow our business. And good customers, the right customers, the customers we want to deal with, right? The second part of growth that's really important is creating a point of difference, or what we call a unique selling proposition. Now, for a lot of businesses, the only way you can differentiate yourself is by price. And if you say your point of difference is that you give one-on-one personal service, or satisfaction guaranteed, or They get to deal with me. That's not different. Okay. Everyone says the same things. I'm talking about a true point of difference. What do you do that sets you apart from your competitors? So you take the eye off the price, because if a consumer doesn't have that, then all they have to make the decision on is the price. And they're going to look at your price. They're going to look at a competitor's price, and then they're going to go, why is this person charging me so much more? Right. And you know what? Someone has to be the most expensive. So why not make it you? It's actually the title of a book. Andrew Griffiths, if you haven't seen him, he's got 14 books, Aussie author. His latest book is Someone Has to Be the Most Expensive. Why not make it you? And I love that book because it's so true. Why not make it you? But you can't charge more if you don't have a point of difference. If you don't have a guarantee, if you don't have systems to deliver amazing things, it's hard for you to do it. You know, and you look at even some big businesses that have gone up against other big businesses that we know. Look at Bunnings and Masters. If you're in Australia, you would have seen that play out. They have such a point of difference at Bunnings that Masters couldn't even compete with it. Look at McDonald's. McDonald's have had their point of difference for so long. And now you might not even know what their point of difference is, but you experience it, right? And the main point of difference for them is consistency. They consistently give you the same experience, right? That's their point of difference. You can go into any shop in anywhere in the world and you know what the menu looks like. You know what to expect. That's consistency. That's their point of difference. It's not they've never ever said we make the best burgers. In fact, there's another burger chain that say the burgers are better at, and I bet you know who that is, right? All of these things are their attempt to create a point of difference. But nobody cares about the quality of the burger in this day and age. They care about how quickly they can get it, how consistently they can get it. You know, this is what they know. They understand the psychology behind the purchaser. And you can do the same thing in your business, right? Create a point of difference that will take their eye off the price. The next thing is developing your sales process. Now, this is one that I think is such a game changer for so many businesses, because if you don't have a documented step-by-step sales process, how are you ever going to hire somebody else to do it? It's impossible. You do it, right? Because you started the business, you understand your product, you take your prospective clients through your sales process. It might not be documented, but it's up here, right? It's up here in your head, and you know what to do. You know what objections you might get. You know, based on that customer's profile, how, you know, what they're going to need to help them make a decision. You know, so much about your business and product that you've already put together your sales process in your head. The mistake I see so many businesses make is they get to that point where they do grow and they need to hire someone, and they go, I'll hire a salesperson. And sometimes it's because they don't like sales as well. That can happen in the early days. They hire a salesperson, they get someone that has sales experience, but it doesn't mean they're going to be able to sell your product or service. Why? Because they haven't worked in your industry. They haven't worked in your business. They don't understand your customers. You do, right? So you've got to create a sales process. The other benefit to this, besides the fact that it makes it easier to hire salespeople and hold them accountable, is you can measure every step of the way its effectiveness, right? So if you make a change to your sales process, you can then go, well, that worked well because my conversion rate went up, or that didn't work so well because we lost our average dollar sale went down, or whatever it might be, right? So your sales process, if it's a step-by-step developed process, it will make sure that you are more likely to get the sale. Now, you are all in my sales process. So I just want you to think about that for a second, because you would have all got possibly, especially if you registered for this event. So if you're watching it live on one of our social media channels, different story. But if you registered for the event, you would have got a follow-up phone call. You would have had SMSs. You would have had emails. You would have been nurtured right up to this point. And that is our sales process. Why? Because we know that increases our ability and likelihood of getting you as a customer. Okay, that's what it does. So, and we've tested and we've measured that. And you're going to be in the sales process after the event. The people that aren't here are going to get a call tomorrow. They're going to get something tomorrow that says, hey, what happened to you? They're going to get nurtured as well and encouraged to also talk to us, because if they didn't make the time to be here, what's going on, right? So we have this sales process for everybody. And if you develop it, then your entire team knows what's going to happen next. Right, we've got a process. It's automated. We use a lot of automation in our business, which you should do. We're not going to talk a lot about systems tonight, but that's the third step, is making sure you optimize your business. And that's a lot of that's automation. So you need a sales process, and you need it to be easy for people to do, and it's got to be, be able to be replicated. The third area of growth is getting customers back. Now, Man, I can't tell you the amount of people that I've made such a huge difference to just by implementing re-engagement strategies. You think about it. Is it easier to get an existing customer to buy again than it is to get a new one? Now, if you have been to McDonald's, have you been more than once? If you think about Amazon, for example, have you bought from Amazon? Do you buy more than once? If you have a subscription, guess what? You are going back every single month. If you've got a Prime subscription, a Netflix subscription, whatever. These companies worked out that instead of having to constantly try and resell you a new box of software, that they would just do a subscription, a monthly subscription. If you think about, 20 years ago, when you bought accounting software, you went to, like your local Harvey Norman store, and you bought it in a box. Now, I'm giving away my age here because some of you might not be as old as me, but you'd buy it in a box. You'd take it home, it'd be a CD or a floppy disk. You'd put it in your computer and you'd install it. And then if you wanted the next version, you'd have to go back to the same shop and buy another box, and you'd have to install it. Then what happened was when sort of cloud computing started to come around, even then they didn't have it on the cloud, but you would be able to update your current version. So you'd buy it online, download it, install it on your computer, and then a new version would come out and you just pay an update or an upgrade fee, right? They learnt pretty quickly that also gave them lumpy sales. How about just charging you a monthly fee? Think about how much you pay per annum on subscriptions. I bet you if you looked at that, you would be absolutely blown away. But it's a way to get customers back. Now, that's not the only way. You can just have great service. Of course, that gets customers back. But you can have things like loyalty clubs. Could you or do you have a referral system in your business? Do you have some way of rewarding customers for when they come back more often? Like, these are things you could just run campaigns that get them back. Just email them and ask them to come back. How about things like digital marketing? Do you have an active social media page with, are you running ads to your customers? Did you know you can upload your current customers into your social media accounts and target your current customers with ads? Okay, encouraging them to buy from you again. Do they know 100% of everything that is available? If not, guess what? They might be buying something that you sell from somebody else because you haven't educated them as to everything that you offer, right? So the reality is getting customers back. It's been proven 6 times easier and therefore 6 times cheaper than getting a new customer, right? So 6 times easier and 6 times cheaper than getting a new customer to get a customer back. So are you working on getting your customers back? Really important. The next area of growth in a business that's totally underutilized is getting what we call wallet share. So you want to get your customers to spend more with you every transaction. Now, you have experienced this many times through your life of shopping. There's no doubt that you've been into a shop and they've said to you, would you like to add this on? Now, if we talk about McDonald's, it's probably the one that most of you could relate to. The line that you probably would recognize would be, would you like fries with that? Now, they don't do that anymore, right? Have you realized that? They've actually done something else to get you spending more, and that's they created packages. And we can take a lot of lessons from this, right? So they created McValue meals. So do you have package deals where people can buy multiple things in a package? Because that works as well. And you can still upsell on top of that as well, right? You can still offer other things. And this is a very common way to get customers spending more. Also, educating customers as to everything that you have available is also going to get them spending more. Could you just run a monthly or bi-monthly event just like this to your customers, running through a feature of your product or services? Could you do that? Would that get more customers buying more from you? I mean, I remember I went back in the days, once again, my age, I've always loved, music that's probably not mainstream, a lot of bluesy stuff. And I remember my local record store, they would just, every time you go in there, they would have different music playing. And it was quite loud, and you'd go, wow, what is that? And then you'd end up buying it, right? So that was one of their strategies to get you spending more. And if you did buy something, this guy that owned this record shop, I don't even know how he probably didn't go out of business. He's probably one of the ones that survived. He's probably still selling records because he was so good. You would buy one and you go, have you heard of this artist? And I'd go, no. And you go, this artist has music just like this guy or very similar. And people that like this guy. So he was doing what the websites was doing manually back then. He would say, people that buy this quite often like this guy as well. Would you like to hear it? And it was incredible when I think back about the guy that ran that record shop. He was doing what Amazon does, or what these other stores do. So there's a lot of opportunity for you to get your customers spending more. And these aren't new things. Like I said, it's not rocket science. These aren't secrets. These are things that have psychologically been proven to build businesses, right? So your customers are human. They're wired in a certain way, and you need to make sure that they understand how to buy from you. Otherwise, they can't. Otherwise, you're going to be costing yourself money. All right, so next few stages I'm going to whiz through, because I'm sure those first 2 stages is probably where you got a lot to do. Let me know in the comments if you've got a lot of stuff so far, and if you have, let me know in the comments. Have you got some ideas? Have you got an aha? Some things that you need to do? Put it in the chat box for me now. I'd love to hear from you. Now, the next 3 steps, once you've got good foundations and you've got your marketing and sales all sorted out, so you've got good money coming in, you can invest in optimizing your business. This is about systemizing repetitive tasks. You do need to invest in systems. It means you gain control and you can delegate with more confidence. So if in the beginning you said, well, Ben, I've got to do everything because I can't delegate, well, it's probably because you don't have good systems in your business, right? Kids run McDonald's, kids that you can't get to clean up their bedrooms, right? So good systems are proven to be great for running businesses. Okay, so you can gain control, you can delegate with confidence. Also, good systems create efficiency, right? So it means that you don't have things getting done differently when you've got good systems, and that creates efficiency. And efficiency is really important for a business, as is consistency. And consistency is good for marketing. As I mentioned before, that's the uniqueness of the McDonald's franchise. The biggest benefit, I feel, is it increases the value of your business. Because if you think about it, if someone was going to approach you to buy your business and it relied on you heavily, that will decrease the value. In fact, some people wouldn't want to buy it. So really good systems mean that you're increasing the value of your business, and you can ask for more, you can demand for more, you can even charge more to your current customers, because good systems mean they have a better experience, right? So you can charge more. That is the optimize. That leads us into transition. Now, transition is about getting yourself out of the day-to-day operation and having your team do it. So you've got to recruit and groom amazing leaders in your business. So it might be someone that's existing, or you might have to bring new people in to help you run your business. But this is what transition is about. And in the transition phase, what we're working on is making sure your business doesn't rely on you. Okay, that's really the key thing there. So those first 3 steps are really preparing you to get out of the business. As I mentioned at the beginning, I've got that client in 20 years. He would have been lucky to take short, maybe a week break. He's now gone, I think, for 5 or 6 weeks overseas, incommunicado, hasn't been talking to his team, doesn't need to. And I spoke to the business manager today. The business is running exceptionally well. It's just had its best month, once again, profitability-wise. It's just kicking goals. And he's not even there, right? That's what transition is about. Transition is about recruiting and grooming leaders so they run your business whilst you're not there. That allows you then to work on it, not in it. So you can really start looking at a bigger picture and go, what is it that needs to happen in this business to make it even more profitable? Get your management reporting and accounting ability in a place with your management team, and develop as a leader, because then you can coach your team, okay? And that's where you really make a difference. You don't work in the business anymore. You coach your team to run the business. Guess what? Now you can have multiple businesses. You can diversify. So this is what the 5th step is. Now, when you're coaching your team, this frees up your time, and you can now go away and invest in other things. And this is where you get to invest in mergers and acquisition, maybe new products and services. You could franchise. You could open more outlets. You could invest in other businesses. You could just invest in property, or put money into your superannuation, whatever you want, right? You've now got the cash flow and the ability to choose what you do, and you're not tied to your business. Your business doesn't rely on you. And even if something happened to you, you'd still have an amazing income coming in, because your business now is a profitable enterprise that works without you having to be there. Okay. And that's what this whole model is all about. So that's the 5 stages. Hopefully you got a lot out of that. I can see that Larry says been a brilliant online seminar already. Oh, trouble with my mouse there. Notes running off the page. Thank you, Larry, for that feedback. I appreciate you enjoying the content. Hopefully you are getting motivated to do something about it. Now, here's the sad news, is that these events, whilst they're great, and as Larry said, brilliant online seminar already, Information alone won't get you there. You've got to do something about it. And, I see so many people that don't graduate. They do the same thing year in, year out, and it's like repeating year 4. Like, you wouldn't accept it if your child had to repeat year 4 for 10 years to the point where they were driving themselves to school. Yet I see so many adults that just repeat the same year in, year out. And sometimes they go back a grade, right? They earn less or do less or have less. As an adult, we should be looking at how do we graduate, and graduating is about understanding what your biggest limiting factor is. And your biggest limiting factor, sadly, is you. You're it. You can say it's time, you can say it's your team, you can say it's the government, the interest rates, all of those things, but really you are your biggest limiting factor. And when you realize that, when you really own that, that's when you can make the biggest difference. Because until you're honest with yourself, then nobody else can help you. And it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing, right? To understand and recognize that you are your biggest limiting factor. Because if you haven't put time aside to learn what you need to do, then now's the time to start doing it, right? Now's the time to think about, what do I need to do? Now, I'm a audiobook nut. I'm nearly at 900 titles in my Audible account. I try and listen to 1, 2, or 3 books a week, sometimes more. If I'm in the car, like tomorrow, I'm going to be in the car for 4 hours. My parents are a few hours away. I'm going to see them tomorrow, and then I'll be driving back. I will no doubt get through at least 1 book in that drive. Okay. And I listen to my books at 1.5 times speed. And I could say that I don't have time to do it. I could say I'm too tired to do it, but I just make myself do it. I put an audio book on. I could listen to music. I could do it, but audio book, I get so much from that. And I remember Charlie Tremendous Jones had this saying. He said, the difference between you now and the difference where you're going to be in 5 years' time is the books you read and the people you meet. And I'm going to add to that and say, and the coaching you receive, because I think that it's one thing to get the knowledge, but it is also another thing to be held accountable to getting great results. So having said all that, I just want to quickly talk about how we can help you. As I promised, I'm not going to try and sell you anything. There's no exploding offers. I will give you a link in a second for you to be able to book into my calendar to have a one-on-one chat, because if you feel like you do need help, and you're ready, right? You've got to be coachable, and you've got to be ready to make a change. You've got to be ready to stop making excuses, and you've got to be ready to start working on yourself harder than you work on your business, okay? If you are ready for that, then you'll need to book in. We'll have a chat. Now, I just wanted to share quickly a couple of success stories of clients that we work with, because you might be wondering, well, is this right for me, right? So I'm just going to share a few. I've shared a couple of little tidbits here and there. This has been from Artistic Lighting. This is a review that he left for us. He said, I'm well on my way to start transitioning out of working in the business to working on the business. And I'm training up someone to take over my role that's going to allow me to work more on the business rather than getting jobs out. Now, you might relate to that, right? That's what we did with him pretty quickly, I'd say in the first 12 months. And he said, I was trying he said, the problem I was trying to solve was that I'd literally been winging it with my business for the last 10 years, winging it. And a lot of people do, right? I think it's just going to happen, because if you haven't got trained, if you haven't learned how to do it, then what else are you going to do? You're going to have to wing it. But you don't have to anymore, right? Because we're here. He said the program provided the framework to develop the skills to push my business further. So that's pretty cool. That's Ben. This is Glenn, 2nd or 3rd generation jeweler down in Sydney. Down in Melbourne, in Victoria somewhere. He said, working with Maximum Profit has helped me with being able to put time aside to work on the program within my working week. Now, a lot of people go, but Ben, I don't have time for this coaching stuff. Well, this is Glenn. Glenn says that I didn't have to add any time onto what I was already doing, but making sure that I stepped away from the business and I take time to work on the business. And that's allowed me to have a lot more clarity on our future direction. Now, this is Gene. Now, Gene is a multi-generational repair shop owner, collision repair shop owner. And he says, I was running it for 20 years and I was comfortable. And that might be you. I was talking to someone the other day that said, well, we're comfortable. He said, I was reluctant to change. But in time, he said, I felt like I was just rehashing the same thing day after day, but probably not moving forward. Now, I think Gene's in his maybe 4th year with us now. He's still maybe even his 5th year. He's been with us a long time as a client. But he said within 2 years, which is when he did this testimonial, he said we had another 3rd staff and we doubled our turnover. And I don't think this would have happened anywhere near as easily as it did without the coaching with Maximum Profit. He said the biggest transformation in the business was the planning and time management, and the profits have gone up proportionally to the turnover. Proportionally to the turnover. Remember, he said there that he doubled his turnover. So, he said, now I have a business that can nearly run itself. Now, this was before his 3rd year. Now, in his 3rd year, Let's get this for a second. For 20 years, he never took a holiday. In his third year, he took 3 holidays. 3 holidays. 2 of those holidays totally in the wilderness, hiking, out of mobile phone range, just let his business be run by his team and his systems. Isn't that amazing? That's what's about. That's what can happen if you do it. So I say to you, imagine what you would do with your time if the business relied less on you having to be there. What would you do with your time? What you think about that? Now, I know you might be beating yourself up a little bit because the past, you haven't made the best decisions, you haven't done the worst things. But you can't change the past, right? We all make mistakes. That is part of learning, and it's one of the ways that we learn is by making mistakes. So don't dwell on the past. Do not live in Regretville. I'll say that again. Do not live in Regretville. You can't regret what you've done. You've just got to take it as lessons and move on. Let me tell you, I know I've made pretty much every single mistake that you can possibly make. But here's what you can do. Is you can start to change your future. And you know when you can start to do that? You can do that right now. You can do that right now. You can just make that decision. So if you're ready to change your future and you think that we could be a part of that, here's a link for you. Now, we'll pop into the chat box, but it's essentially just go.appointmentcall.com/strategy with Ben. Now, this is a 60-minute session, right? It's a 1-hour session. And during this session, we're going to take a deep dive on your business. We're going to work out where you are on that blueprint. And then at the end of that, we're going to make a decision together whether or not our programs are a good fit for you. And for some of you, it will be. For some of you, it won't. And it's no harm if it isn't. Okay. I don't want you to feel like once again, you're not going to be obligated to buy a thing. What we have learned after doing this for thousands of people over a couple of decades now is that we only work with the people that are the right fit. And that means you've got to find us as the right fit. So it's a two-way street. So this session, yes, you're going to leave with a whole bunch of ideas and motivation. It's a one-on-one session. We take a deep dive into your business. We'll look at your industry, your issues, and I'll help you one-on-one map out that plan. And like I said, if there's a good fit, I'll talk to you about the programs and what that looks like. So be open to the fact that coaching will be made available to you at the end of that. Once again, no obligation. Okay. So we're just putting that into the comments box right now. You can see that going in. Go.appointmentcall.com/strategy with Ben. If you're on one of the social media platforms, that'll also be in the comments. Just click on the link and book yourself in. If the link is not clickable, it's also on the screen a couple of times. So just choose a time. All right. I'm going to open it up to questions. I'm going to add in David so I can have a break from talking. He can answer all the questions. There he is. How you going there, mate?
Good, good.
What did you spend the hour doing? Did you do your hair?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I just done a lot of the background work to make sure everybody's ready to get. I've just said, just a quick comment for DJ. I've just sent you an email. If you can look at that and get us your original registration details, because the info you've got here doesn't line up, so I can't send you the handouts. So if you can please just respond to my email with that information, that would be good. Thanks, DJ.
Yeah. So David, you might just quickly explain to people whilst they're booking in their strategy sessions, how do they get access to this bundle of goodies we've got?
Yeah, so that's what I was just mentioning for DJ. Sorry, we once within the next probably 3/4 of an hour, you'll get an email, and in that email will be a link. That link will be your login details to our Business Acceleration Hub. And so all you do is follow the instructions. It's pretty simple. Follow the instructions, log in, and you'll be taken to a page that's got all those handouts available. Of course, there's a whole lot of other information there as well. You can have a look at all of our different programs and different things that are there. Yeah, so you'll get all of those. You download those handouts, and as Ben said earlier, most of them are workbooks. So the idea is to download and start working on them because these are some of the basic fundamental tools that we give our clients when they start working with us. So you're getting those absolutely free just for attending tonight. So that's all you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you don't get that email within the hour, if you don't get that email in the hour, please check your spam or junk folder because it does come from a system. And unfortunately, these days, a lot of email just goes straight to the junk. So just check in there. It's not junk. Yeah. It's very valuable.
Yeah. And you will, I mean, you should get a call from one of our team anyway to follow you up if you haven't booked in with me. If you're booked in with me, I'll make sure you get what you need. But if you haven't booked in with me, then rest assured we'll still get to you. We'll make sure you get your tools. Like I said, we value those at $870. You might be wondering how we value those. They're probably worth, not probably, they're definitely worth a lot more than that. If you just did the work in one of the workbooks, it'll make you that money back tenfold, guaranteed, right? But we used to charge $1,300 for a workshop where we would take you through those workbooks and help you implement a lot of this in your business. Of course, we're not going to be there to help you one-on-one with it, but we're going to give you as much support as we can. When you log in now, because these workbooks have been developed to a point now where it's easy for you to use them and get this implemented in your business. But of course, if you feel like you need help and you need coaching, just book an appointment with me. So go.appointmentcall.com/strategy with Ben. If you've enjoyed today and this session, you're going to definitely love the strategy session. And we can get really clear on what the next steps are for you. And if you're wondering about affordability, we have programs and trainings that start from just under $500, right? So we're not one of those coaching organizations where you have to spend thousands of dollars every month to work with us. Or that you can, we don't mind, but you don't have to, right? If you're in a position where you just want to get a bit of training or a course, there is some people here tonight that have got the courses. They are a good starting point because it'll help you implement some stuff. You'll get some group coaching. You'll get embedded into our ecosystem and we can help you. Like I said, information alone won't get you there. What will get you there is plugging yourself into a community of like-minded entrepreneurs and a system that has been proven to help Aussie businesses grow, or businesses all over the world, really, but mostly Aussie businesses. All right. So Larry has a good question there. Let's put that there. Well answered. So you probably, I didn't see your question before I said that, but yes, it doesn't matter what business you're in. We have different levels of training commitment for different people. Yes, Larry, absolutely. So if you're keen, book in and I'll talk to you about the different things that are available and we'll help you choose what's going to be the next best thing for you. If you're ever worried or, concerned, because I know, there's a lot of people out there offering training, etc. Just go and read our reviews. Okay. We hang our hat on what we do. We've been doing this for 20 years. We're the OGs of this industry. OG stands for old guys.
Oh, is it? Is that what it is? And just Larry, on that point too, we actually have a lot of team members also within businesses doing our trainings as well. So in fact, one of our programs is designed for someone that wants to start a business but hasn't started one yet. Highly recommend they do that because we meet a lot of people in business that have been in business for a long time and they don't know this stuff. So best to learn it before you start and spend all that money and have to go and redo it all again later. So yeah, every different level we can work with.
All right.
Any other questions before we get to wrap up?
Yeah, any other questions? Feel free. It can be anything. Ask anything you like. We'll stick around for a couple more minutes. It's like the post-show chat. Well, the thunderstorm wasn't too bad here. We had a couple of claps of thunder. Did you get thunder and lightning down there in Sydney, or is it just up here?
No, it's just up there. Yeah, there's nothing here.
Yeah. Amos, you are more than welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for coming along. And I'm glad you got a lot out of it. It's what it's all about. You are very, very welcome. Thanks, Matthew. My pleasure. Thank you for coming along. If it wasn't for people turning up live, it'd just be a video. So I love doing the live thing, as you can tell. I love doing videos as well, but you can't beat a live session. How business like us, small cafes? How? Yes, we can help you, DJ. Definitely. Mark, thank you very much. Appreciate that. Looking forward to chatting with you. Hey, Larry, appreciate your time, mate. It was great to have you here. Thank you for being somebody that participated. It was great. Hopefully I pronounced this right. Is it maybe? I hope so. Thank you so much for coming. Really appreciate that. Thank you, Mary. It was great having you here. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, Wendy. Glad you found it informative. What is the link to see our marketing services? Yeah, we should share that, shouldn't we? We'll send you an email. I'll just chuck it in, actually. Let's just chuck it in. You want to see that? I'll put the website in. It's pretty easy to find. Here it is here. We've got some exciting stuff happening too. Like what we're launching in 2025 to help businesses with their marketing is even excites me. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So that's a link to go and see our marketing company. It's called DigiTLC, Traffic, Leads and Customers. That's what TLC stands for. Attend to Love and Care. You read it how you want. All righty. If we're done, we'll wrap it up. Any more comments? We'll give you 60 more seconds to jump in there if you've got a question. If not, we wish you well, and I look forward to seeing you in your strategy session. Thanks, Maria. Yes, the OGs. That is us. I don't mind being the OGs, especially in this industry. There's a lot of newbies.
In another place, that was called the Opera Ghost.
Oh, was it?
In I think it was used in Phantom of the Opera. OG.
Oh, was it?
He signed it as OG, Opera Ghost.
Yeah, it's funny, like there's a lot of newbies that are struggling with how to get clients and help clients in this industry, and they actually come to us. That's why I like being an OG, because we've got it's not that we're smarter than anybody else. We've just been doing it for a long time. We know how to get results, right? So we've learned the hard way, as everyone has to. But when we work with you, we know how to get results. And that's the thing that I can hang our hat on. And we can guarantee it, right? So hopefully we get to talk to you a bit more and help you get results in your business. All right, well, we're going to wrap it up there. Anything else you want to add, David, before we wrap it up?
Yep. That's all good. Thank you, everybody, for turning up, and hope you got some great value out of it.
Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody, and until next time, stay profitable. See ya.
See ya.